The next one, and I think this is the final one we're going to talk about today, is lipids. Lipids are your fat storage. So in this case, we look at this seal. He's got lots of blubber. It's because he's storing lots of lipids to, one, keep him warm, and two, give him energy in case he doesn't eat anything for a very long period of time. So same goes for you. You may store your lipids as fat. You may think of it as a problem, or you may just be saving your energy for a rainy day. Lipids are macromolecules, so just like we talked about with carbohydrates being macromolecules, they've got lots of C's and H's and O's all bonded together. So these are going to store energy in them. And looking at this question, why does a salad dressing made with vinegar and oil separate into two layers shortly after you shake it? That's because vinegar is water-based and oil is a lipid. They are hydrophobic and hydrophilic. Hydrophobic means basically scared of water. That's why the vinegar stays away from the oil. And hydrophilic, the oil droplets pull back together. So you may see them pull together as droplets on the top of your salad dressing. And that's because the oil is attracted to other oil, but it stays away from the water-based vinegar. Here in lipids, we have a couple of different lipids that we're going to talk about. We'll talk about fats, which is the blubber that's stored inside of animals. We'll talk about sterols, which are chemicals that are going to affect the way that your body works, and phospholipids that form the outside of your layers of your cells. If you've ever thought about cells and you've thought about the way that they don't dissolve in your blood, that is a very good thing for cells. If they dissolved in your blood, then you wouldn't have cells and you wouldn't be alive. So around the outside of every one of your cells is a phospholipid layer that keeps all the outside stuff out. It repels the water, and it's attracted to the other layers that are here on the inside, so it keeps everything inside of the cell. So that double layer of fat keeps the environment out and keeps the cellular stuff in. So in talking about lipids, they are non-soluble in water and they are greasy to the touch. They are valuable to organisms in long-term energy storage and insulation, membrane function, and as hormones. So fats are something that we are very much drawn to. Humans love these tasty fat molecules. And as you know, they are very plentiful out there because everything that's fattening tastes lots better. They are very attracted, and we are very attracted to them because if you think about our evolutionary history, it didn't used to be that food was so plentiful. So back in the times of our ancestors, they were really drawn to these fatty tasting foods. If you think about them killing deer or killing pigs or killing things out in the wild, the cavemen with their fires and then cooking their food. They were really attracted to things that were fatty because they didn't know how far in the future it was going to be until they would get their next meal. Well, now we have this plentiful abundance of food. We know where our next meal is coming from, but we still love fatty foods. And so blame your caveman ancestors on that. What we have in our foods is called glycerol. This is what makes it attractive. And then it's got these tails to it, which are the fatty acid tails. Fats are composed primarily of three elements, the carbon, the hydrogen, and the oxygen. And they're stored lots of energy here between the carbon and the hydrogen. And this is what a lipid looks like. It's got this, this head on it, and then it's got the tails, and we'll talk more about what that means. Fat molecules contain much more stored energy than carbon molecules do. So I think it's been said, and from what I've read, that there are 4 calories in each molecule of carbohydrate, and there's 9 calories in each molecule of fat. And so that's why fats and proteins also have 4. So fats have much more energy in them, much more stored energy than carbohydrates do, or that proteins do. So because fats store such large amounts of energy, animals have evolved a strong taste preference for fats over other energy sources. And so we have two different types of fats. We've got our saturated and unsaturated fats. We have here in the saturated fats, these are going to be things like you've got your cheeses, your eggs. Unsaturated fats, the carbon in the hydrocarbon chain is bound by two hydrogen atoms. And so it's going to look like this. It's going to be very tightly packed together. Bless you. In unsaturated fats, you've got one carbon in the hydrocarbon chain, and it's bound to just one other hydrogen. So these are kind of crooked fatty acids. And so I think that you will notice these are the healthier, the unsaturated fats, than the saturated fats. Unsaturated fats are better for you than the saturated fats are. And so these long hydrocarbon tails, the fats are effectively storing energy in the many carbon and hydrogen and carbon bonds. Their caloric density is responsible for humans preferring fats to other macromolecules in the diet. It's also responsible for their association with obesity and illness in the modern world. Not all lipids are fats, though. We're going to also talk about phospholipids that build sex hormones and build the membranes around the outsides of cells. And those are called the sterols. So sterols, things that you may have heard of before, things like cholesterol or steroids. Cholesterol is an important component to the cell membranes of all animals. It can also attach to your vessel walls, like if you hear of somebody that has high cholesterol, they have that sticky cholesterol that's sticking inside of their blood vessels, can lead to high blood pressure, strokes, and heart attacks. Steroid hormones, however, are going to look a little bit differently. Steroid hormones like estrogen or testosterone, and these regulate sexual development, maturation, and sex cell production, so in production of the egg and sperm. They can influence our memory and our mood, and testosterone is what helps to stimulate muscle growth. So like in this picture right here, does anybody know who that is? Good, Arnold Schwarzenegger. So steroid hormones, some talk about the controversy surrounding steroids because some people take synthetic variants of those in order to get bigger faster, and then it can cause a lot of harm to the body. So cholesterol is an important component of cell membranes, but it can also make us have problems with strokes and heart attacks and high blood pressure. And then the final thing is phospholipids. Like I said, those are the major components of the cell membrane. You've got the fat layer that's keeping the environment out, and the fat layer that's keeping all of the cell components in. So these are waxes, which are strongly hydrophobic. They repel lots of water. And I will end there, and I'll pick up with that next time. So thank you very much. Nope. Nothing tonight.
Hey, I know that we have a test coming up.
Yes.
I just want to know, like, what chapters are going to be covered?
It's going to be 1 through 3, I believe.
1 through 3?
And I'll put a study guide up for you.
Study guide as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm just turning that because I'm not coming to Thursday class.
Okay, just look for it online and get the video, watch the video.
All right, just read the book and check
Yep.
it online.
Yep.
All right.
All right, thank
very
you.
much.
I have a random question.
All right, I love random questions. Those are
My
my favorite.
sister just texted me this morning, and it was funny that we studied this today because she asked me to go on a vegan diet.
Ah.
And I texted her back, I'm like, what's a vegan diet? And she was like, you can't eat nothing made
With animal products.
with animals. And then she texted me a long list, and I told her, I was like, that's a whole lot of stuff.
I know. That's all the stuff you like to eat.
Yeah, I was like, so what do you eat? And then she like, well, basically fruits and vegetables.
And plants and beans.
Yeah.
Beans are a big part of it.
And I was like, well, about that. I didn't reply back, but I thought it was so funny that you just went down the list.
Now
of
you
stuff.
know everything that you like
and I
to
was
eat.
like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this
Yep.
is not going to do good. So yeah, I thought that was so funny.
See?